Hey guys, just another quick real numbers video for you guys right now. Now I know I did drop one of these fairly recently, but I did want to just actually cover this really quick news because I actually think it's really cool. Now, just to be fair, I'm not necessarily going to be covering Japanese films in the future. I don't necessarily follow it enough to actually know one way or the other how foreign markets are doing. Domestic is more of my forte, but I do kind of dabble from time to time. And this is a story that actually caught my attention. Now, several sources are reporting that the Japanese box office actually grew 8.5% to a record $2.09 billion or 235.5 billion yen in 2016. Now that is a huge record-breaking year for Japan. Honestly, I honestly, one of the things that you have to realize when you're looking at foreign box office and why we really should start, if you appreciate box office numbers or if you appreciate movie numbers anyway, I think we really all need to start looking to foreign markets in order to determine exactly how popular and how huge a film can be. And it gets really confusing, guys. It gets really confusing as to how much money. Now, this is not necessarily the same thing. When we look at Hollywood movies, yes, we have to kind of look at the deals and trade agreements, and it's very hard to know exactly what the deals and trade agreements for certain areas or regions, territories that certain films might actually have. So we don't necessarily know how successful a film is based on how successful or how much money it made, because we don't know exactly how much the real studio is keeping from that based on how much they're exporting and stuff. And there's a lot that goes into that, and maybe I'll cover that in another video if you guys want to hear about it. But basically, this is a huge deal for this. This apparently the reason that the movies actually made that much in 2016 for Japan. One of the big reasons was because of a huge anime that honestly I don't necessarily know a whole lot about, but I have seen the trailer. It looks absolutely beautiful, stunning type of film, type of story I've always really wanted to see expressed in one way or another. It's called Your Name, which was 2016 highest grossing film in Japan. It made $233 million US, but 23.6 billion yen in Japan, and that is a huge sum. Not that most films don't necessarily make that much. To put it into perspective, we have other films from the US basically coming into about like $50 million, stuff like Episode 7 and all the other big movies from 2015 that were doing huge numbers over here, but they weren't necessarily hitting in Japan like they did over here. So this is just huge in terms of these foreign markets. It's not only our films, but it's also their film. Their film markets are growing, their properties are becoming more valuable, and people want to see movies based around their culture, their issues, and everything else, which is one of the reasons that Hollywood is actually starting to do as much as it can to actually kind of culminate and actually start putting its fingers into everything that we are going to be seeing. And honestly, I'd be remiss if I said in about 10-15 years, maybe even less time than that we're not actually getting movies based and made solely around international people and international stars, more mixed and diverse casts and all this other stuff. We've seen Marvel kind of shifting that way in terms of comic books. We've seen Matt Damon and the Great Wall actually coming out and going to kind of start promoting that whole like China, you're a big movie star in China, so you're going to actually start doing that. We have Legendary actually being bought by a Chinese business, and the idea that they might be making a Warcraft movie solely for Japan. Another one, even though it kind of bombed over here, it did do really, really well over there, making a ton of its money from its overall grossings over there. So honestly, guys, foreign markets are growing. It's about time that we're going to have to start paying attention. I really hope we get more information. Honestly, we get so little information in terms of actually, you have to go deep to actually figure out any of that stuff. And honestly, I'm really kind of sad about that. It's actually really hard to start paying attention to this stuff because you have to go and it's a lot of speculation work. You don't necessarily know exactly what deals are in place or how much money movies are actually making as opposed to what they're actually putting out there. So honestly, that's always just really shady. It's so much easier to look at domestic markets because we kind of know or can at least ballpark how those deals are working out just because of where we are and how those deals usually worked out in the past. So honestly, I think we really need to start paying attention to this stuff, but it's going to be hard in the future. It's just really interesting. So I guess that's all I really wanted to say. That movie made a ton of money. I'm really hoping to see it in the future. Honestly, I can't wait to see it. I know it's supposed to be very, very good. And with 20 weeks in the top spot, or at least in the top 10 over in Japan, it's crazy good in terms of what they think. So being a connoisseur of anime to some degree, honestly, I'm really excited to see this film. I hope you guys are too, and thanks for watching.